Good morning and welcome. You are with the Skeinz Diaries. I am Maree. It is Monday, the 17th of July. Welcome along to episode 262. Lovely and sunny here, but a big tinge of the powdery stuff on the hills this morning. So we've obviously had some snow overnight. So good time to dust off the old woolies and come to work. So good morning, everybody. Now, did everyone have a lovely Matariki weekend? Let us know how your Matariki went. I've got a little confession to make. In fact, I had a lovely little sort of texty chat with the lovely Barbara, as we're apt to do, her and I. We spent a lot of time talking about talking about recipes, cooking, and knitting. Usually, my favourite things. And I ended up working all day Friday, Matariki Day, for the side job, the side gig. And so I worked pretty much I did all day Friday, half of Saturday. And it was only half of Saturday because I was just saying to the lovely Veronica who works here, I made two teenage boys, remember? I made the fatal mistake of Mama Bear, when your two teenage sons say, oh, can we have a few mates over for Matariki, Mum? And Mum goes, oh, yeah, that's a lovely idea. Why don't you do that? That sounds great. And two doesn't turn up. And I had 9 stay. So, but that's okay because they're very self-sufficient and they're very, very good and they're all lovely. And one of them rocked up with, 2 kilos of bacon and 2 trays of eggs, which I needed to feed them all. And it was, that was my Matariki. So not a lot of knitting was done. So I've actually literally last night, I sat with my cup of coffee last night and a bit of trashy Scandi Noir on the telly. Yeah, Scandi Noir on the telly. Doing my scrappy crochet blanket, which I haven't picked up in such a long time. And in this blanket, if you've not caught up with it, is literally the world's biggest granny square. I always have one on the go. I use it to use in my scraps. This particular blanket is all done in marled yarns or random print yarns of some form. So there's no solid dyed yarn at all. It's all it's very, very colourful. So I haven't picked that up in months and months and months. I literally have, I have one piece of weird knitting, which, to be fair, I only started because I went to see my parents. I had nothing else. And it's awful. I'm going to rip it back. So I've got nothing. No, nothing. No, I've got things that I could have started, but I just was like, I don't have the energy. And I thought, scrappy blanket. And so I sat there with me, and it's quite large now, actually, the blanket, to be fair. Like it would be getting close to double bed size now. So the nice thing about that is that it's cold. So I can sit there with the blanket on my lap, my crochet hook, and I can do that and read subtitles at the same time. So this is very important. Very important. I see the lovely Tabitha's here. She will understand this. I'm sure. I know you will, Tabitha. Well, I've got a lot of the Americans in. Good morning, Charles. Everyone's in this morning. And oh, yeah, so that's what I managed to do, several rounds of that and knock out a ball or two of pulse on the scrappy blanket last night. So that's what I've been working on. The reason I have no knitting on the needles is because I have finished the jumper. Now, Charles is going to die in horror here when I show him this, but in a way, I'm kind of nervous you're here now, Charles. So I have finished the jumper. This is the jumper I've been working on for months for my brother. Subtitle knitting is essential. Yes, subtitle knitting is essential, Charles. You're right. So this is the jumper that I've knitted from the head. So I didn't really write anything down. I just did it all from the noggin. And I got to the shoulders and I was a little worried, but I have actually consulted my other phone a friend and I have actually put this on a child, well, one of my sons, to check fit. And I actually think I'm going to burgle this. I designed this jumper just to be something super casual for the Americans, to go and walk the dog, essentially. And he saw it in progress because I did a bit of knitting on it when I was at his place. So he knows it's imminent. So it is knitted. I forgot to bring the cone with me. So it's off a cone of wool and spun yarn, natural lamb's wool that they'd purchased at a market. It's come from Wool Yarns in Wellington. And I think it might be either Cape Palliser. I've got a funny feeling it's either Cape Palliser or Rewerewa Station or one of those. So it's one of those cones. It's really lovely. It's in a bracken colour, so it's a colour that I love. It's perfect, totally perfect for that sort of thing. So being woolen spun, when you knit it, the yarn itself is sort of because of course I'm used to worsted spun yarn, right? So with worsted spun yarn, we dye it or we steam it, particularly with the naturals, and it all puffs up. So the ball that you get is all beautiful and puffy and lovely. Whereas when you're buying a coned yarn, it hasn't gone through as a woolen spun that final washing and puffing process. You're just knitting from the cone. So the yarn itself is a little waxy, is probably the best way to describe it. So it's a bit lifeless and a little bit waxy. So it is certainly, if you're somebody that likes to knit really lovely, beautiful, lush, soft, you will not like knitting this at all. For me, it doesn't worry me, to be honest. I'd knit baling twine and be happy. So, it wasn't fair. Now, I got it finished, and I finished it while I was on my break. And fortunately, the place we were staying at actually we stayed in an apartment, so it had everything there. And it had a plastic laundry, because it didn't have a laundry sink, but it did have a plastic tub, which obviously they'd designed for people to wash smalls and things like that. So I was like, boom, I can block the jumper while I'm away. And I had clothes rack and everything, so I could, and towels, enough towels to pin it out. So I was like, whoa, I'll do that. So the first thing I will say, if you ever go to one of these markets and you see one of these cones, especially if it's woolen spun, because it hasn't gone through that final part of the process before it's balled, it means that it hasn't been sort of had a final rinse and a scour. So I think I've mentioned this before, that I knew that I would have to give it a pretty good rinsing. So unlike a lot of worsteds, when I go to block a worsted spun yarn, if I wet block it, it is literally, I'm just soaking it with a little bit of detergent to break the surface tension, rolling it out, and it's done. Okay, because there's no cleaning. It's all pristinely clean. I knew that wasn't going to be the case with this. And often with a worsted spun yarn, I will often just steam block it if it's something that doesn't, it's not really going to benefit much from wet block. So into this tub, this thing goes. I should have taken photos. So this is the colour of the yarn. The water in the first rinse was darker than this. It was honestly like liquid chocolate. It was that dirty. And that is just all the machine oils and everything that goes on in that process. Perfectly normal. 6 rinses. 6. So I would soak it and just let it do its thing. Then just put it in the thing, squish it all up, and then rinse it all out. Then start again. And just each time it progressively got less and less and less and less. And it took 6 rinses until that water ran clear. So it was a mish. But I'm so glad that I did it, because the difference in this wet, blocked and dried from when it came off the needles is night and day. So that is wonderful. It has actually softened up a whole heap. So here, hold on, let's get the right way around. There it is, the right way round. Because I did actually do a little bit of neck shaping. So as you can see, so the only thing is that I did do the saddle shoulder. I did do some shaping in the saddle shoulder, but to be brutally honest with you, on hindsight, I would possibly have done more through here. But in saying that, my brother is he's tall, 6'3", and he's sort of got that kind of shape. So I think I'm going to be all right. So there's tons of room through that shoulder. And that's it. Oh, oopsie, completed. Ta-da, there. So what we have is when he wears it, we have this lovely little bit of feature on the side, which is the twisted stitches running up the side, which then go into this reverse stocking stitch sleeve. And as you can see there, it is a set-in sleeve. No, it's not a set and sleeve. What am I talking about? It's a saddle shoulder. It's a saddle shoulder sleeve. So there is some shaping there, and then I did actually pull the neckline in, so it is actually quite cozy around the neck. But I think that I have put this on one of my sons, and whilst it's a little big here, my brother is much bigger than my oldest son, so I think it'll be fine. And I had this conversation with Libby, and I said to Libby, "Have I cocked it up?" She said, "Actually, no." She said, "I think it will be fine." So there it is. Yeah. So look, a little bulby here, a little bit more than I would have wanted, but you know what? It's a jumper for him to walk the dog, and I don't think he'll really care. Knowing him as I do, he's a very relaxed sort of a chap. I have to say the yarn has softened beautifully. The arms are quite long. I have measured the arms against the jumper that I modeled this off, and it is the same length, so he'll probably end up rolling those up. But I mean, look at that fabric, lovely, and it feels good. So it's going on the courier today, down to him. So that's why I'm done with that. And before any smart ass says, "Are you going to write this down?" No, 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 I've done it. I've knitted something from the head, from scratch. Yeah, no, I don't need to do that again. That's me. You know how I roll. I know. So now I'm on the hunt for my next pattern, which is back to the lovely Barbara. So the lovely Barbara was she sent me some different ideas, and and so this is where I'm sort of betwixt and between, because I know Charles, you sent me something last week. Charles has got something new on the hook. Actually, let's have a look, Charles, while I've got you sitting here. And I see, and because I haven't been on the Rav for ages, I've been Now I'm going to change that because you would have sent it to me, wouldn't you, Charles? So I've just changed the login to me. Yes, I know. There it is. Oh, you sent me two, Charles. You're spoiling me. Charles has sent me two, bless his heart. Okay. All righty. Let's find those, shall we, Charles? Library. There we go. Sorry. Just, chat amongst yourselves while I get myself sorted here on the Rav. Right. Oh, ooh, Charles. Charles. Okay, so let's what am I doing, Maree? That's what we're doing. Charles has sent me a new shawl pattern, and I'm going to pop it on the screen so you can all see it. Now that I've given you morning sickness from there we go. Ta-da! Go me. Okay, here we go. The Raos shawl. This is lovely, Charles. So Charles, oh, see, I love it. See this, look at you, bless your heart. 20 stitches are actually very nice. So this is very, very similar to the one that you did before, isn't it, Charles, with the Zauber ball? Oh, this is lots of fun. Look at that. Oh, there's some, do I detect a short row? I do. And just look at those lovely mohairs in between. Oh, see, look at that. And isn't it funny? I'm going to show you why that is so lovely. Now, you've used Crazy Zauber ball there, but one is a very short, easy scarf. Yeah, so this looks like, is that it there? Charles, it's lovely. That's gorgeous. And part of the reason why so that's the Rail shawl. Part of the reason why I think that's rather intriguing, Charles, is because I've just gone and pulled out some yarn. So I'm kind of feeling the hankering to do some mohair double stranding again, because I did it with a shoji, and I have to say the fabric in shoji is divine. Like, I love it. But I'm not going to knit another shoji in a hurry, if ever, because it's like, takes forever. However, I do love the fabric that it produces. So back to the lovely Barbara. So as I talk about the lovely Barbara, so we were bouncing ideas, and she sent me a couple of new Angela Maries with some slip stitches. I think exploring very similar to the Trinnigan and the shifty type slip stitches, which would look incredible with pulse and some of the heathers and things. And so she was trying to get me all, bless her heart, trying to get me out of my wee funk and get me inspired. And I said to her, I said that I actually often go back to old favourites. So some people love to cast on something new to get their knitting mojo back, and that gets them inspired. I'm actually the opposite. I tend to cast on something old and familiar, and that makes me feel better and feel happy. Crazy, right? But it's me. So hence, this is why one owns and has a million Miss Janes. Not a million, maybe 7. 2 chikers. I've got this is Nanook, and I really love this. I thrash this, and this is in Kelly & Co. What else is another repeat offender? Oh, Love Note. Done a couple of those. So I was thinking to myself, so then my initial thought was I could do another Love Note. I like knitting them. Just as well Ethan's not here because he would scream at me. And I thought, well, I've not actually done one double-stranded with mohair as written in the pattern. What a shocking thought that I'd actually knitted as it were written in the pattern. Oh, as if I would do such a monstrous thing. So that was thought number 1. Number 2 is I really like the Wayfarer that Libby has just put on open release for everyone last week. And I just think it's really, really pretty. Now, that's in a DK, but part of me is thinking, ooh, but I could do it in a sport weight with the mohair, and the cabling down the centre it would be softened, but it wouldn't be lost because you still get a reasonable amount of definition there. Do I do that and then pop some swing in the A-lining through that centre panel and give it a bit of room? Because I do look at that, particularly in a long sleeve, if I were to go to something new. I chewed that around. And then I thought, and then I wore chika over the weekend because I've got my 2 chikas, especially the charcoal. I thrash. I thrash my Love Notes. I thrash my chikas. And then I thought, well, I haven't knit one of these for a few years. It's done in a bulky weight yarn. It is super fast to knit. I think the charcoal one I knocked out in a week because it is done, on a bulkier knit. But what if I were to do that chika sort of with the mohair treatment? So a DK with a mohair, that would give me my bulky, or even did it with a 4-ply and that. So I had something actually that was quite ethereal that I would then wear as a piece sort of heading into warm weather. That idea sat quite well with me. Then I put this on this morning, and then I thought, and I knitted this in the Kelly & Co, the largest size, but I upped the needles because I think it's knitted to a DK. Is it a DK or 10-ply? It is knitted to a 10-ply, but I think I might have used gone up a needle size for 5mm. I've got a funny feeling that's what I did. I have to check my notes. I think that's what I did. And this size-wise for me, perfect. It is, as you can see, it's a good fit. I love it. Again, I thrash it because I love it, and it's flattering. And I thought, well, and I love this whole sort of Art Deco-y style fans here. And I thought, well, what if I were to do the whole sport weight mohair thing, which will give me quite a lighter, more ethereal cardigan in fabric, but because they're double-stranded, help hold a bit of structure together and do that. Because I'm also very mindful of where I live here. I've got loads of cardigans and sweaters now to wear across the winter, but it's finding those ones that sit in those transitional zones, and I don't, to be fair, have a lot in that zone. I have my Lizzie, which is the green Tiki Knits one. Not really a lot else because a lot of the other stuff is, So that's what I've been playing around with. Decisions, right? And then, of course, throw all of that on a policy bonfire, because the other thing, pattern bonfire, policy bonfire, That's politics. Anywho, and of course the new Incognito, which I am just smitten with. And there has been a Swan Show release called The Herbalist. I think I put it out in a newsletter several weeks ago. Colour work, gorgeous, patterning right up my alley. Love the colours they did in, and we've got exactly those colours in the Incognito. I know. So the first things first is I'm not going to get anything knitted new in time for Knitterless Nights. It's just not going to happen, not with my work schedule at the moment, with the side gig and everything going on in my life, teenage children and such. But that's okay. It's all good. It's not as if I'm short of things to wear for Knitterless Nights. And I didn't even give Shoji a proper showing last year because it was too warm. So that's problem one. Oh, there's the lovely Barbara. Good morning, the lovely Barbara. I've just been talking about you all morning. Anywho, so then it's like, where do you go? Where do you go? Right? So I'm going to show you a couple of things. So first I'm just going to, oh God, and I forgot to take it over cellophane. Right, I'll just pop this down here, Charles. Okay. Oh, why are we doing that? There we go. Right. So, and I'm torn because I love the new Incognito. And I love, there's so many things. I love the new Incognito. I'm loving the new colours from Libby, which these are the 4 new colours. Oh, hold on, I've missed one. Oh, there it is over there. Here it is here. Right, so those are the 4 new colours from Lib in the Southlander. And you all know how partial I am to our rustic yarns. I love them. I really do love them. They make me happy. They're nostalgic. I love super premium, soft, squishy, lovely yarns like the Incognito. I do. I like this. I do. Well, mind you, this even though this is merino, this for me is rustic too. I love something about a lovely, grippy, toothy, delicious yarn. Just me. So I just adore all of these. Now, I have got a love note in this colour, so I ruled that one out straight away. I really do like this. I really do like this, but I don't have a mohair to go with it. Well, I do, I think, or it might have sold out. I did in the DK, but I don't in the fine. So, but I do love this colour, and I'm going to do something in this in the final way at some point, which leaves me to these two. And the good news about these two is, yes, I do have mohair companions that will work with these. So the first one is Bliss, and that's our green tea, and those two are actually quite a nice little combo. So you will get a little bit of marling going on. It won't be completely invisible, but there is those two will work quite happily together. So that's them. Or even closer still are those two there, which is I think this is Clarity. Yeah, Clarity and Rejoice. But then the only problem I have with these two, so like Soji, so I mean I've already got something in that colour. However, we all know how much I love the heathers. And I know I'll lose some of the heathering effect, but look at that. That's the Scotch mist with the ice. Isn't that lovely? And actually, they look slightly different in the camera, but here, and they are peas and carrots. They will be quite amazing. So that got me very excited. This is with the photographer now. So as soon as I get this back, I'll put this up. This is the new Rosewell, which is the new. Okay, I'll put this over my face so the camera doesn't catch my face and it copies on that. There we go. There you go. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is the new Rosewell. So this is the color that's coming. I think it is this and Stornoway, because Stornoway's my favorite fave. I am loving this. And this with the Provence. Look at that. So this is winning. At the moment, this is winner chicken dinner. Okay. Totally loving this. But then I was thinking Chaika. And of course, Chaika has got the contrast with the big V-neck contrast. And the white's quite stark. But we do have the lovely Cozy and Champagne with that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It's so good. That's pearl. And then I thought, well, actually, for a beautiful soft chica, that would be amazeballs. But then I saw these two together and I thought, wouldn't that make a lovely nanook? Or wouldn't any of these make an incredible wayfarer? So I'm now no further along because I just love all of them. So I need to make a decision because I do really need to get something cast on. So if I don't get something cast on, I'm not going to get stuck into it. Both this nanook and the chica are really wonderful, quick, easy knits, and I think that's where I'll go because I need to get something knocked out reasonably quickly, and then that will make me feel better. I am feeling the vibe of the Wayfarer though. I think I will go there. I really like that. I love that set-in sleeve. It's the same as that short row set-in sleeve that Libby does. It's the same as the oatmeal, and I wore my oatmeal the other day. The original one I'd knitted. I've knitted two of them too. Speaking of comfort knits, and I actually thought to myself, I need to wear this more often because it fits so well and it looks so jolly good and I like it. So yeah, I know. Sucks to be me, right? It's too much choice. And then did I see Annette in here? Did I see Annette creeping in here before? Because here's the other thing, lying in bed last night thinking about knitting, because that's what a girl does, right? Lying in bed and thinks about knitting. Did I see Annette? I did. Oh, there you are, Annette. Very good. I've got some of Annette's incredible art yarns. Like, these are art yarns to end all art yarns. They are works of freaking art in a skein, and I adore them. And so I was lying in bed last night thinking, well, Maree, you want something that you will be easy to wear, that will be transitional coming into summer season, that you can just throw on and off. And I do. You've seen my ponchos that I wear. Again, the round to it design that I've never written up, but I have in my head. But that sort of shape, I've got that shape sorted now. And I suddenly thought to myself, I have some of Annette's incredible yarns with matching skeins, which of hand-dyed yarns, which I bought from the beautiful Bonnie from Union Fibre. And it's in sort of this lovely rusticy, two-foldy type, so right up my alley. And I suddenly thought, ooh, I could actually do just a lovely swathe of fabric with that, with those yarns, and play around and do some sort of just basic poncho. And I'm playing around, Annette, actually doing a elongated stitch and weaving your art yarns through them, because that would actually maximize my meterage on them, because that would actually be a fun way of doing it. So I'm actually sort of playing around with that little idea in my head as well. And of course, that's just easy peasy knitting, because I know for some of you out there, that is the most boring thing on the face of the planet. But for me, again, as I said, I need things so I can read subtitles. I'll be able to read subtitles with this. So these are all the sort of crazy ideas that I chuck around in my head. I mean, do you guys do that? I chuck around them in my head all the time. Maureen's asking, what would you recommend for a cable sweater with rustic feel, but not necessarily for stitch definition? This all day long, Maureen, Kelly & Co. Totally. Because you've got that sort of lovely rustic feel and rustic look, but that cable definition. I only know that because there was some sort of slight twisted stitching that I did on my husband's limerick sweater, plus this. I've done some cabled swatching for this yarn in the shop, and we've also done the beautiful entwined cabled sweater, which we have for sale, which is designed by the lovely Cheryl from Cheryl Beckeridge. So yes, all day long. If you want something a little in Southlander, still will give you that in a worsted version. So if you want it in a woolen spun classic Donegal tweed, and these are made for those sorts of Aran knits, absolutely all day. And the Southlander, and so then that covers the Highlander heathers, the Truly myrtles, and and regular Southlander. If you want to do something bold in colour, but with that classic rustic feel, snug or cozy, we'll do that, because essentially snug and cozy is snug and cozy is Southlander, but we have put an after treatment over it to make it machine washable, which does two things. One, it does soften it up, and two, it means that it will survive on a wall cycle, low agitation in the machine at cold. So if you're not aware, any cozy or snug yarn is completely interworkable back with any of the Southlander or Tweedy Myrtle Sports or the DKs. If you then are saying, well, why have we called cozy full ply and the others a sport? It's because technically it is spun to a full ply. It's at the heavier end of full ply, but it is technically full ply just before it dives into the next zone. But the treatment on this does soften it down, smooth it down a little bit, so it's not quite as bloomy, lofty as if it's left untreated. So that's why we've just done that. It is not quite as these. Right, one last thing before I go. The most important thing, which of course I should have led with, but see, I've missed you. Hadn't had a chance to chat to you properly. Right, let's move all of this. I've just put these on the special page with a very, very sharp deal on them. There's a story, and there's not that many. And I'm going to tell you guys first before I put the newsletter out, because you'll end up buying most of them. Albertine. These are two of our new colours, Nova Scotia, Montreal. Look at those. They're gorgeous. We love them. However, at the mill, in both of these, we had someone new, and they put when they put the tie bands on the hanks, which then go to the dye house to be dyed, they tied those tie bands, and it's not all of them, it's only a few random hanks, a little bit tighter than they should have been, which means when they were going to dye, those hanks were a little pinched in, and the dye didn't take readily where they were tied. So there have been the odd random hank. So bearing in mind that there's like 50 kilos of this colour, we've had sort of, from what we've been able to ascertain, 2 or 3 hanks in each colour that had this problem, because it was when this person was training. So that means that there are these odd random balls, and you may have seen them if you're in the speakeasy, particularly in this colour, that there was these sort of slight colour white spotting. So we think we've caught everybody that have had issues with this up to date. And if you have, drop us a line, because we can get you some replacements. But what we're going to do is we're now specialing these out at $4.95 a ball. Yes, $4.95 a ball, which is an incredible offer and it's first grade in every sense, other than the fact it's a bit of a lottery, because we don't know if there's any more spotty ones left. So we've gone through and done a visual check of all the bags and all the balls, and we've plucked out any that we can see, but there may be the odd one that might have a slight dye fault in it somewhere along the line. We're hoping there isn't, but there might be. So that's why we're giving you this at a really, really, really good promotional price. And we're doing it in as-is, whereas on these, so you've got them great for charity knitting. So if you're charity knitting and you want machine washable, shrink treated merino, $4.95, because they're not going to be terribly phased if there's a wee spot in there. So that's what we're doing with these. And the reason we're doing it is we want to clear these colours out completely. So then the new batch, we've got a brand new batch going in that we will know that is 100% a mint, because things happen. So that's what we're doing. So we're totally upfront about that. And as I said, if you've already, I think we've caught everybody that had an issue, but moving forward, all of these are now going out at $4.95, which is a great deal. So they're on the sale page now. I'm also going to be getting up some prints for you, which will probably go up for Wednesday, with any luck. You'll get those Wednesday, which will be the Orb prints, and they are the prints that are exactly the same shade as the ones that I took to Wellington for the Wellington weekend, but on their beautiful Orb DK base, and they're rich, lush, saturated colours, and they're utterly divine. So I'm just clear. It's back from the jungle today, so we just need to make sure that all I's are dotted and T's are crossed with that, and everything's there, and those will go out this week. And I do have something very special just for Saturday and Sunday as well. I know, midwinter stitchmas. So don't kind of wait and bundle it all to the weekend, because I'm picking this will be gone by the end of the day. The prints will go up. They will go up at a promotional price as well. I can tell you what, they'll be $6.95. So normally $8.50. They're going to go up at $6.95 to celebrate midwinter stitchmas, and they will be up until at that price until the end of the month, or until they're sold out. There isn't a massive amount of them. It's similar to the others. So there is only, I think there was only like a carton of each. So that is that. So it's coming, and yes, and as I said, I'm not going to tell you about the weekend yet. It's a pack special, and it's a freaking humdinger. So yeah, I might tell you about that on Thursday, actually, because we might start it Friday. Yeah, I'll talk to Claire. I'll talk to now that she who, my dog that wags the tail that wags the dog is back. I can't get away with all the naughty things I've been getting away with for the last 3 weeks. Better be good. Hey, better be good. Right, I've talked enough this morning. I've got jumpers to put on the courier and balls of yarn to put back. You guys have a great week. With any luck, fingers crossed, I will get Ethan on Thursday. He has been so busy getting Get Flocked up and running. So I'm going to try and get him for Thursday. But failing that, we'll go back to the what are we now? Yeah. Let me see if I can get him for Thursday. We might move our days. Might move our Thursdays. Change it around. We'll see how we go. Because it's Get Flocked, new place. All right. You guys have a great rest of week, and I'll see you on Thursday.